Hello, everybody. So I want to talk about poop a little bit. No, so what's been good so far is that everybody's been really, happy. And I'm going to be that guy. So just, you can laugh if you want to, but it's not going to be. Maybe a little bit. So, if you were to take my father, of course, and kind of piece him out in between all of the pill bottles that he's ever used and had pills in, you'd still have enough left over to bury him under. My father is talented at three things: telling lies, acting, which is basically the same thing, and enjoying narcotics. And everybody has a skill set, I guess. So for a period of time, I was living in Harrisburg, and now that I live in Lancaster, I think it's safe to say Harrisburg is a shithole. And Lancaster is so impeccably better. But for some reason, when I was in Harrisburg, I thought it'd be a really good idea to take in my father, who lost his job because of drug use, and bring him in with my soon-to-be wife. And just think about that dynamic for a second. It was a horrible idea, but Harrisburg. So, if all you're doing is drinking, why not? So I bring him in. And being an actor, and being a liar, and being so immensely good at taking 10 Percocet at a time, my father quickly finds that the number of hospitals that will prescribe him drugs for his back or for his knee or for his brain or whatever kind of runs low. So one morning he comes to me and he says, "We need to go to Greencastle." And me being the adoring son that I was at the time, I say, "Sure, why are we doing that?" And he says that he has a friend who is able to give him the medicine that he needs. And I say yes. And I look at my wife, my fiance, and she doesn't say no, but she kind of gives me what I came to understand, being married for 5 years, as a no. But at the time, I wasn't reading it. So I get in the car with my dad and we start driving to Greencastle. And we get there, and I'm not against the way that anybody lives, truly. But if I lived in a house where the net population of rabbits was more than the net population of the people who lived in the town, I would reconsider kind of what I was going for in my life. But again, who am I to judge? Rabbits are wonderful. So we go to this house, and the fellow who's going to give us the drugs comes out, and he says, "My son is actually going to do this for you." And his son comes out, and I want you to imagine John Gotti. And then I want you to imagine the guy who pumps the gas for John Gotti. And then I want you to imagine the guy who couldn't get that job. And that's the guy who's going to get us these drugs. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's not so bad. I'm in Greencastle. I don't know anybody in Greencastle. These rabbits aren't going to tell anybody. This guy over here who has a son who couldn't even work for John Gotti's gas guy, he's not going to tell anybody. Even if he does, who cares about those people, right? So, fine, we're going to go. And he gets in the car. And then this very pregnant woman comes out of the trailer with the rabbits. And she says, "I'm coming too." And I don't know a lot about drug deals. I've never seen a single one in TV or in Cops, or maybe Cops, but where a woman who is super pregnant comes along as your shotgun. So she's going to sit in the back, and me, being chivalrous and dumb as shit, say, no, she can't sit in the back. she's very pregnant, and it's safer actually right now in her sit because there's more airbags and stuff. And mostly because I didn't want to sit down next to this guy. And the guy takes this as a hint that I want to sleep with her. And he tells me so. Really? Already? So, long story, much shorter. She comes along anyway. And we end up going out into the vast wilderness of Greencastle. And we find the person who's going to give us the drugs. And I'm so thankful, and I'm pulling up to the house, and I say, I know you saw cop cars, Matt. It doesn't matter. You're the only one with this conscience. The rabbits, this guy, this pregnant woman, your father in the back, completely drugged out. Who cares? Nobody's going to know who you are. The person we get the drugs from turns out to be my second grade English teacher, who apparently had retired from Hummelstown and moved to the rabbit-sprawling hills of Greencastle. And she looks at me, and I look at her, and she gives the gentlest of nods. And I give the gentlest of nods and get the drugs and drive back home. Thank you very much.